Michael, when I flip through these things, does the thing change on the screen?
Yes.
Or do you just see? Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure because it's
Here the
one
house,
program.
document. Yeah. So they see.
Okay, so you can see all the different ones.
David's image is there, but he can't connect to audio. Oh, no, maybe here it is now. Can you talk, David? No. Hi, David. Can you talk? David's having trouble. Oh, Nathan, how do you?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, you
Yeah.
connected.
All right.
Moved himself, so okay. All right. Who's going first? David or Tom, James? Tom first. Okay. So David, I am
Yeah.
going to block you out, but you know what? Maybe we'll leave him because he has so much trouble coming on. Let's leave him alone, okay?
Well, you gotta leave them on.
Yeah, he's in the meeting.
Oh, okay. Yes, I have to. That doesn't matter anyway.
He'll recuse himself when it's time.
Pat, can you say something?
Tom, yes.
Okay. Pat?
Caitlin, we're gonna turn off your camera until it's your turn to come on.
The one that says Ryan Myers?
Yes.
All right. Not video. All right. It's confusing. I still haven't heard Pat say anything. Have you? Pat?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
That's better.
All right.
Okay.
Sitting here in the dark.
Liz,
Yep.
the only two people that are actually going to be participating are Tom for the 46 Lake and Caitlin Mayasek which is listed as number 3 on the agenda, 104 Pioneer Street.
Okay.
There won't be a representative for number 2. So if you want to flip and get Caitlin taken care of right away.
Sure. And did Teresa get you the materials for Glenn also?
Yes,
or?
I can put
Okay.
I can put it up on the screen when we get to
Okay.
that one.
Okay.
But she
So-
won't be in the meeting, so.
All right. All right. Great. And my one clock says 5 and one says 4:59. But since we have our participants here, should we call the meeting of the Historic Preservation of the Architectural Review Board of the Village of Cooperstown to order? Okay. Item number 1 on the regular agenda is 46 Lake Street. Tom, would you like to tell us about the project?
Sure. We were in for approval in March for a pool patio and with a little retaining wall around the outside edge of it that I don't know if you remember it, but anyway, that got approved. And then I was talking with Tony and Jane, and we were intended to put a little outdoor kitchen out there. So it'll be the same veneer. It's kind of located, if you go back to the site plan from the last project, I don't know what documents you've got in front of you there.
I can bring up the thing if you want me to.
Please do, Jane.
Sure, there
Okay.
should be a site plan, and then there should be an elevation. And I also drew a goony little isometric drawing, but it's halfway between an isometric and a perspective, so it looks kind of wonky, as they would say. Yeah, so that's what you've got. So that's located on that pool patio behind the garage. The garage would be to your right where the word section is. And yeah, there you go, right there. So that's obvious, that's a rotated view, right? Where in the other drawing, we're looking at it from the left of this picture toward the east. And then that is a plan view. It's basically a pizza oven, a little 36-inch grill, a side burner, a built-in stainless steel storage unit. It sounds really bad, doesn't it? We don't want any storage units in the village. But then, and then the next one with the R is a little refrigerator, a 14-inch bar sink, and a trash recycling unit that's also embedded under that counter. So if you look down at the elevation, it's kind of a, again, it's kind of a goony little sketch there. The grill, the refrigerator, that section is pretty accurate. The pizza oven is kind of still in development. And I think what that's going to end up being is more of a little countertop with a little dome pizza oven on top. I've actually got a really goony sketch. If I could share my screen, which I don't think I can do. Anyway, so that's the idea. So this is looking west. It's completely obscured from the garage on the south side, and then pretty much obscured by the house and the patios from the west. So you're looking from the left in this image. You see it says patio, kitchen, dining. So that's the house, and there's also a hedge of trees over there. And then from the east side, you won't see anything but a continuation of that retaining wall up another 32, 36 inches. So that facade would just be more of that stone veneer.
So the pizza oven won't rise above it. Is that what you're saying, pretty much?
Yeah, it's and there's also a fence. We've got a fence in that pool right there, remember? So coming off the corner of the garage, that's that little, looks like a stitches almost, or yeah, there you go, Jade. That will be a board fence that will, if anything sticks up, it would be maybe, 18 inches of the little chimney on the pizza oven, maybe. I hadn't really looked at that. Can you scroll down to so that elevation, so you figure the countertop is at what, 36 or 40 inches? And then, so the pizza oven, it probably won't stick up quite that far, but that little bit of the chimney might be visible from the neighbor's yard. Although their shed is right there in the way, so I doubt they'd be able to see that at all.
Okay, great, Tom, thank you. And the stone, is that natural stone, that foundational stone?
Yes, it's
being
so,
used?
if you just imagine walking down Pioneer Street or Fair Street toward the lake, and just before once you hit Lake Street, you look to your left, and there's I can't remember who owns that now, but that stone veneer, remember, it's a low stone wall with stone columns and wooden fencing in between. That stone veneer is exactly the one we're trying to replicate. Very much the same as Mace Reynolds or Jeff Reynolds' place next door. And I think, Jane, in that other packet, I don't know if you can load it up, but I think we did send a picture of that.
Trying to think. Let me
That
just,
veneer.
there's the fridge.
Yeah, that was the fridge.
Is that it right there? No.
Yeah, that's not really
No,
the
that's
stone.
it.
That's just the way that those stainless steel units look as they're embedded in a stone.
Right.
Yeah. No, it was with the original application, and it was actually
Oh,
a
now I
picture
have to
of that
find that.
column at
Yep.
the corner of Lake and Fair, across from Edgewater.
Hold on.
Tom, is that Edgewater's fence? Tom, is
It's-
that what you're talking about?
It's the one across the street from Edgewater. So if you're looking
the
down
one
Fair Street toward the lake, it would be on your left.
It's Mano's old house.
Yes,
which is Nelson and Ramsey's place. Edgewater.
That's right. No, it's not
Yeah,
it.
oh. Mano's house is now owned by Nelson and Tom, you're getting back to, you
there you
said
go,
that
right
it's
there.
got- Yeah,
Okay.
that's Nelson Mano
Yep,
house,
thanks.
not Mano,
It was.
Nelson and Ramsey. It was Mano's, yeah. Good.
Does anybody have any questions for Tom?
Yeah, Tom, and going back to the kitchen will be on the east side, right? Behind the garage,
That's right.
as you look,
That's
yeah,
right. So
right there.
there you go. So the street is
Yeah.
to the bottom of the page, obviously.
Right, and the garage is, if you're looking at the lake, the garage is on the right, and then
Mhm.
behind that will be the outdoor kitchen.
That's
So that's
correct.
the east side, right?
Yes,
Yeah, okay, good, not the west side. Okay, great.
in that image, the lake is to the top of the page.
Correct, I understand, yep. Well, this is
Any-
just a field change.
Yep.
Any other questions?
No, I think it's fine. I mean,
Would you like to make a motion to accept the field change, Roger?
I would be happy to do that. I would propose that the Historic Preservation Architects Review Board accept the field change at 46 Lake Street as defined expertly by Tom Brighton. Period.
Second,
Okay,
Who seconded?
Dave
David.
did.
Sorry, I can't look up and write at the same time.
I guess we have to remember to announce ourselves for Michael. Any discussion? Okay, as you vote for this, please state your name. Liz votes yay.
Mark, yes.
David, yes.
Roger, yes. Roger, yes.
And Brian voted yes as well. And is Pat on the call with us?
Yes, he is.
Okay, so, great. All right, thank you very much, Tom. And Jane will get you the paperwork you need.
Well, thanks again. Appreciate the approval and stay safe.
You too.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we'll move on to Caitlin Myasek and 104 Pioneer Street, correct?
Yes, I have to get her. You have to do that.
Yes.
Yes.
Have to start with. There we go.
Oh, I see. Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Okay, Caitlin, would you like to tell us about your project?
Sure. Mary Marks and Herb Marks live next door to us. We have two adjacent, our driveways are adjacent, separated by a hedgerow. The part that you're looking at here is the higher part of the hedgerow. It's like between I would say 7 and 9 feet possibly. Down the driveway closer to the street, there's like a 4 to 5 foot hedgerow, which we're keeping. But we're looking to get rid of all of this higher hedgerow here. You can't see it from the picture, but on the other side, on the Marxist side, the bush is completely devastated. There's no greenery on it or anything. It's right down to the wood. There's nothing on it. So anyway, so we're looking to take out all of this hedgerow to be replaced by a 6-foot fence that Williams Fence is hoping to do. So we'd be removing all of that bush right there, and that would be replaced by the 6-foot fence. Sorry, my dog has a squeaky toy. So in the back of the property, you just saw a green fence with finials on top. The style of the fence that we're going to be, sorry, going to be replacing the bushes with is exactly the same style of fence as this. It'll be a treated wood, and I'll be looking to paint it green eventually when I can get to that. So basically it's 6-foot fence all down the driveway. And then as you can see here on the other side of the garden beds, Mary has a compost pile at the back of her garage there. We'll be looking to put a 6-foot piece, one row of 6-foot fence right there. And then all the way down, just not all the way down to meet the other fence because there's some nice bushes at the end there. We'll be putting the 4-foot fence along the property there.
Okay, good. So it goes to about there.
Yeah, that would, so 6 foot off the back of her driveway and then 4 foot to meet that small hedgerow there. No,
So you might want to tell.
So the proposed fence is scalloped like the photograph with the finials, the ones, it's going to be a scallop too?
it's gonna be scalloped with exactly the same finials. Yep, the style is completely the same. Yep. It'll just marry it together. I think it'll look nice.
And just so you guys know, the fence, can we go back to that other picture where it showed that white,
The driveway.
the driveway picture?
Yes, I know. It actually
It doesn't
stops to about here instead.
Yeah, she knows that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't
Yeah,
even think it goes there.
I thought I corrected it and it just doesn't show up on this one for some reason. So,
That's okay.
Yeah, it actually goes to where you see that it really starts where that dark, I think that's a car. It actually starts there. It's not even that long.
oh,
Right
so
there.
you're only talking about a fence this long.
Yeah, it's just taking out a really nasty portion of that arborvitae that's dead on Mary's side.
So it won't go to the street, it's just that section closest to the garage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically, yeah.
Yeah. You probably won't even be able to see it from the street. Yeah, you definitely won't be able to see it from the street.
Does anybody have any questions about the proposed fence?
So Ryan, it looks like it's what, maybe 10-foot section in front of the garage and a 4-foot section behind it?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, it's not
Of the
significant.
6-foot fence.
Right, yeah. The rest is just 4 feet, but yeah, just those two sections of, yeah, it's probably 14 total feet with 10 coming out from the garage.
Right, okay.
Yep.
And I have a letter from Marx's saying that they have no objections to the fence being tall, being 6 foot tall. So that's already taken care of.
And the
And then
better
I have
side
the
of the
good-
fence will be on Mark's side?
Pardon me?
The better side of the fence will be on the Mark's side?
Yeah, I know. That's something I learned because this is the first fence I've ever put in. I didn't realize I got the ugly side, but yeah, that's fine.
Any other questions? Okay. Would anybody like to make a motion?
I'll do it.
Mark, did you have a question or?
Yes, I just, this is marked as a field change, is that correct?
No, it's not.
It's
Okay.
not really a field change, but I put it through on the application because they've recently just put an application in within the last year. So I didn't want to make them submit
Gotcha.
a whole nother $25 thing. So,
Thank you, James. Thank you,
Do we
James.
make it field change?
so I would just call it a regular motion as opposed to a field change, but
Okay.
it's,
All right, whereas Historic Preservation Architectural Review Board has made the following findings concerning the property located at 104 Pioneer Street. Public hearing was not required. The property is listed. Therefore, according to section 300-26E, 2 C, 3A, B, C, D. And that should be it. Therefore, be resolved, etc.
Brian, second.
Hey, any discussion? All right. Please state your name as you vote for this. Liz votes yes.
Mark, yes.
Brian, yes.
David, yes?
Roger, yes.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks,
Caitlin.
everybody. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye.
You're welcome. Okay. So Jane, do you want to go right down the agenda now, starting with 53 Susquehanna?
Okay, let me pull up the application. It's basically just to match an existing fence that they have along the side of their house currently. And they're basically going around the back of the yard and then forward along I'm trying to figure out what that's east or west at this point. This would be the south side.
Correct.
So it's a wood stockade concave fence, pretty much just like the last one, as far as what it's going to look like. So they just purchased the house and they're moving in this month. So, and she's in the process of flying back from Europe today, so she wasn't able to come participate in the meeting.
Excuses.
Yeah, I know. So I don't know if anybody has any questions or
Materials to match everything the
I mean, it's a
same?
white,
Yeah.
it's white cedar,
Okay.
so with pressure treated posts.
Okay. Flip over Nantucket. The caps are wood, I'm assuming as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're just going to be a decorative top on top because it's a pressure treated post, so it just must be.
Jane, do we have permission from the neighbors?
Actually,
Short fence, right?
yes, it's only 4 feet tall. So I don't need permission from the neighbors.
Fine, okay. And the good side will face the neighbors?
I'll include that in the decision when I write it up.
Yeah, please.
Okay, does anybody want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion regarding the installation of a fence at 53 Susquehanna. The Historic Preservation and Architectural Review Board has made the following findings of fact. Proposed work meets the criteria under 326E, 2C, 3A, B, C, and D.
Is it listed?
Now therefore let it be resolved.
Yes.
Does any discussion? Okay, Dave seconds. Any discussion? Okay, Liz votes yay.
Mark, yes.
David, yes.
Brian, yes.
Roger, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you all. And move on to the next item, 89 Beaver Street.
It's just a request for an additional permit extension. It is their second request. They received one 2 years ago for the windows. At the time when this first went through, it looks like it was for a replacement on the porch and installation of the windows. I think they're only at the point now where they need just the windows extended.
Well, I know he's working steadily on the house and it looks better and better, so I have no problem extending the permit. I don't know if anybody has any qualms about it.
No.
Okay. If nobody's opposed, would somebody like to make a motion?
I'll move,
Yeah,
we
I will.
approve it.
Who's moving?
So Dave moved,
David.
Roger seconded.
Yeah, I second.
Okay. All in favor? Yay. Liz says yay.
Mark, yes.
Brian, yes.
David, yeah.
Okay.
Roger, yes.
Thank you. All right. Now we'll move on to 39 Susquehanna.
Hold on
And-
one second. One
Oh,
second.
sorry.
1 second. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. So as we move to 39 Susquehanna, Dave will recuse himself from voting and tell us about his project. Pat, I hope you'll step in and vote for this one. Okay, Dave, want to tell us?
All right, all I'm doing, I have one cellar window and it's rotted. So what I want to do is replace it with a vinyl insert.
Any questions for Dave? Okay, it's a field change, so we don't need a formal motion. Would anybody, or we don't need a formal motion for it, but would anybody like to make a motion for the field change?
I'll do it, Liz. I
Thank
move
you.
that we approve the field change for 39 Susquehanna as presented for proposed cellar window replacement with vinyl insert.
Would anybody like to second that?
It's Mark, I'll second.
Okay, Mark, thank you for the second. Liz votes yay.
Mark, yes.
Brian, yeah.
Roger,
Rog-
yes.
And Pat, are you able to unmute and vote? It doesn't look like you're muted.
Talk louder, because he answered me when I talked really loud. He said,
Okay,
vote.
okay, well, even without Pat's vote, I think we are okay on this unless anybody's concerned. I will assume since Pat is not objecting that we can move forward with it. So Jane's going to tell us about two more items that have come in as last minute additions to the agenda. The first is Mill Street, correct, Jane?
It doesn't matter how you want to
Okay,
go
wherever you
over
want to
it.
go with it. So
Okay.
which number
what-
Mill Street again? 18
It's
Mill?
18. What you see on your screen is the little house. Existing right now, this awning is actually fallen off through a snowstorm a couple years ago, according to the owner. So right now it's only this masonry landing and stairs with the metal railing. He would like to just create a pressure treated wood system that looks basically the same setup, same size, same, stairs coming down the middle, other than the stairs would have to just meet code. So I'm not sure whether he needs an extra riser or not, with just a pressure treated railing of some sort. So I said I'd have you guys look at it tonight, as opposed, because he just called me this morning. Otherwise he'd have to wait till next month. So because it's a non-contributing house, I wasn't sure whether you wanted to just kind of look at it and approve it as it is, or
It's too bad.
wait
Is
till
the
next year.
masonry so deteriorated that he can't stick with the masonry?
He said it is falling, crumbling and falling down. I haven't inspected it and I don't know. I mean, he knows that it's hollow inside the landing area. So there must be some stuff that is exposed enough that he can actually see that, it's
It
just
looks
like
like
a concrete.
the steps are precast.
Mm-hmm. Does anyone have a problem moving forward with this late application tonight? Would people feel more comfortable if you got to take a look at it? Mark,
Yeah,
go
I
ahead.
mean, I would like to see what's proposed in terms of, scale and railing and so forth.
A little design and
Yeah.
material. Yeah,
I agree.
I hate to stand in the way, Jane, but
No, that's fine.
we
Like I
don't
said,
have a lot of information.
Like I said I would just, run it by you guys because it was such a late minute thing and I just wanted to just follow through with it. But I told him that, you might not approve it at this point and he understands that. So
Yeah, ask if they can bring more specifics to the meeting. That's great. Next month.
no
Thank you.
problem.
Okay. All right. So we'll move on to 14 Glen.
Okay. So basically what you have here, pulling up the wrong one. This is what was approved. It was a 12-foot wide double opening French door so that it opened in the middle. I think this panel and this panel actually slid back on themselves. What they found out today was that when they removed in here, there's an actual old wooden post that's in the wall, existing in the house wall that they want to, not have to remove. So they've changed it to just a double hung window here and gone with like an 8-foot sliding French door instead. So that's the main changes. The other thing that she wanted me just to mention is she wants the windows underneath the veranda to all be a black finish. The window themselves aren't changing as far as the style. It's the Marvin elevates now, but she wants to go with a black finish on the frame instead of a white finish. The rest of the house is white. And they had gotten approval for window replacements if needed. And she said that having looked at it, they are definitely going to be replacing the windows on the rear of the house. They haven't decided on the rest of the windows, but that was approved in the original application. So the main change is just this area right here. And like I said, because there's a column they found in the existing wall that they don't want to tear out, they had to reconfigure this setup.
Does anyone have any questions or concerns about this field change proposal?
No, I don't.
Would someone like to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the field change as documented on the application.
Great, thank you, Mark. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Roger.
Second.
Thank you. Liz votes yay.
Mark, yes.
Brian, yes.
David, yes.
Roger, yes.
Great. Thank you. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting?
Can I interrupt for 1 second?
Sure.
And whoever makes the motion, can they also say who's making the motion? Because I sometimes miss that. I just need, because I'm looking at paper and and everybody with the screen share, you're not even all visible at once, so I can't see you talking. I can't even look up and see you. So if you just say who you are, that helps. Sorry.
That's okay. So Mark, you made the motion, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I
Mark
got it.
made the motion. Okay, we'll keep trying, and then we'll all be in person again, right? 1 year.
Someday,
Who knows when? Nice to see everybody, though.
Right now, I know it's going through definitely till August 5th, but that's the latest as far as what I've heard.
In terms of the governor allowing
Yeah.
public meetings?
Yeah.
Oh, I have a feeling it'll be extended.
I know.
Anyhow, everybody had a chance to review the minutes?
Yep.
Good.
Yes, thank you, Michael. And would somebody like to vote to approve the minutes?
So
I'll
moved.
Okay, so that sounds like Roger was your first and Dave was your second. Is that correct?
Brian,
That's correct.
Yeah.
Oh,
It worked.
Brian. Okay.
No, Brian abstains.
Oh, Brian abstains. Okay, thank you. And again, Pat, since Brian is abstaining, actually, you weren't at that meeting either, so I think we can approve them with the people voting. I will vote yay.
Mark, yes.
David, yes.
Roger,
Okay, so you have everybody voting yes, except for Brian, who's abstaining, and Pat is abstaining as well.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad to see everybody looking so well. I thank you, Roger and Mark, for taking the training or starting the training, the
Yep.
preservation camp. I know Roger mentioned that it was a little bit redundant to some of the things we've discussed, but some good information does come out of those. So I hope that since you didn't have to travel a million miles to do it.
Yeah,
worthwhile.
it's certainly easy to do it virtually. So, you know, I think
Yeah.
overall good.
Good. I'm glad. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to do it. And I have not forgotten that we really want to look at the window guidelines. I apologize that I've been very busy as we try to get the museum ready to open with all the new expectations and the changes we have to make. So I will continue to keep that on my list, and hopefully we'll be reviewing something before the next meeting. And we can all weigh in on it as we take a look at it. Jane, is there anything else?
No, not really. Like I said, at some point we need to kind of start looking at not just windows, but the whole
The law. Yep,
whole law. Yeah,
the law.
especially more than anything, the demolition stuff. Because I mean, I know we let things kind of go to a certain point, and it definitely makes sense when we start looking at some of the smaller, like garages or things like that, to not have to worry about public hearings. But so
Okay. Still on my
I'm
list.
sure, I'm
Sorry,
sure
Roger.
everyone's very impressed with what's going on in Beaver Street, the house on
Yes.
Beaver Street.
yes,
I mean,
they're
that is-
actually. I mean,
Talk about Lazarus. I mean, my God, it's
Yeah.
amazing how. Well, David had said years ago that he saw the house before it deteriorated, but it's really it's amazing. So we won't have to deal with that.
right, they're
Being-
replacing. They're sanding and fixing all the railings and spindles that
Oh,
they
yeah.
can, and otherwise they're actually found somebody that can fabricate them. Some of the corbelling that's up around the eaves and everything, they've actually showed me some of the pieces that they've had made, and they look great. So
What is the plan?
as far as I know right now, they're only working on the exterior. The work that they're doing now is just rebuilding to match existing, so using all the same kind of materials, so they haven't needed to come in. There's a couple things that they're looking at trying to do on the back porch. They might be relocating the stairs, so at that point I'd have them come into you guys just to kind of do that. They're talking about putting a small balcony off the second story with French doors on the back elevation, because they removed a piece of construction that had been put on after the fact, and I told them that they could just remove that without needing to come to you guys, because it was, like I said, it was put on after the house was built. It was just falling down. It was an exterior stair that had been enclosed, and now that they've removed it, you can actually see that the house looks better. So they did that. And the only other work that I know that they're planning on doing is there's a window on the side that in the basement, the stonework, and what they want to do is just remove the window and infill it with the same stone that matches the rest of the foundation wall. At that point, I told them they could go ahead and do that without needing to come to you guys.
Why are they doing this now?
No idea.
I had heard by the grapevine that what's his name, wants to move in from where he's living into that house.
Oh,
But I'm not,
Well,
I haven't talked to him, but that's what I heard.
no, like I said, they're doing a really good job. They had to replace the water line last week, I think, because something had busted on it. So, I mean, they're putting a lot of work into it. There's 2 doors onto the porches, not counting the front door. And they're talking about not necessarily being able to refinish them, but they're looking to replace them with the exact same kind of door with the same kind of wind glass in it. So I said, as long as it was very close to what was there, and that they could go ahead and do that. They're a hard couple to get, paperwork and things up, at timely manner from. So if you guys don't have issues, I can just kind of, as long as they're doing work to bring it back and using the exact same kind of materials, I assumed you guys were okay with it.
no, I say they should stop all work immediately.
Let it rot for another 30 years.
We won't quote you.
Like
Yeah,
I said,
please
I will
don't.
have them.
Please don't.
I will have them come in for the balcony and, the stairs if it's going to be a major change from what was existing. So, but otherwise, they're just refinishing and replacing to bring it up to what it looked like.
Great.
So while we're talking about properties with issues, anything happening at 14L?
It's on the market. We just saw it today.
Huh.
Is it? That I hadn't heard.
So Mike
No, it
kind
was
of
just-
threw in the
just
towel
listed.
on it.
I think it's listed for 180,000. So anyone want to buy it? Or maybe 160,000,
So
but the lot's worth about
Yeah.
80,000 maybe.
What a shame.
Yeah, very much so. I know part of that was Dykstra's passing and the plan for Michael and Dykstra to do that together, but it is too bad that I think the farther it gets away from those original purchasing hands, the harder it is going to be to trust the intentions of the people who have it.
Mhm.
And then one more item, Liz.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Where do we stand with the Danny's Market exterior and Shoeless Joe's exterior?
Jane, what
I
can we
know
do now?
I
Yeah.
sent out letters, and I don't think I've ever heard back from Danny's Market. The other one, I did hear back from him. He was, trying to line up people. He had done some work on the windows, and I'll have to go back in the file to see exactly what he wrote back. But yeah, Danny's, I've never heard anything. We did send out letters to them. And then it's kind of up to you guys to decide at that point how you want to continue. I
Does
guess.
a letter from Martin, is that the next step if our letter hasn't been?
I don't know whether it's a letter or just an actual kind of fine, start looking at fining, but
Why don't we do a letter from Martin and with the, the veiled threat that it may come down to some more, fine or whatever.
And I know that businesses, especially this year, are really struggling. But just the fact that they didn't have the understanding that they should at least begin communicating with you if there's a letter that comes from the village means that a letter from Martin may have a little more weight.
like I said, I did hear back from Shoeless Joe's, and he had communicated that he had lined up some work, but he was having trouble actually getting people to commit to doing the work. So I'll reach back out to him at least. Like I said, I
Yeah.
haven't heard anything from Danny's.
Yeah, I wouldn't because it looks awful. It just looks awful, you know.
Well, I mean, and Roger, you have a very good point. And even with looking at that house on Mill Street, which is a totally, it's not apples to apples, but that, that's of the period, and that little awning fell off. And that's kind of part of the period of that house in terms of original materials. And it's kind of, what do we do when people don't take care of those original materials and they are destroyed? And this is much more significant on Main Street and in a relatively, sensitive historical spot. So we really should press it.
Well, with Judge Nelson's house is pretty historic.
Thank you for being our Main Street watchdog, Roger,
Well, the dogs walk by there.
and drag you along, kicking and screaming.
Right. But I do think we should keep going on that. And, not that I want to bankrupt them, but on the other hand, we do have some criteria and some laws and some, I think we should stay on, keep pushing.
Okay. Well, I agree. And Jane, if you would like me to talk to Martin, let me know. Otherwise, I'll let you
Let me
kind of.
let me pull out what I sent to him just so I have that in the back of my head, and then you can decide if you want to or how you want to handle it.
Okay.
So I did I just noticed that I did get an email from Pat Inky saying that he was he tried it on 2 different computers and a phone to log in. And he said he did see and hear for a minute, but then I think he actually cut off. So I'm not really sure with seeing his name there why, but I don't think he actually is watching right now. So.
Well, and I hope everybody's happy to see the work that's happening on Beaver Street.
Oh, yeah.
And they have a good contractor and everything. So the Jim Bridger's highly respected. So I don't know if there's any backstory that anybody's aware of, but it's just nice to see it moving along in a good direction.
Right.
Every time we go by, Becky just says, look at that. It's unbelievable.
I agree, Mark. It's unbelievable. But David Sanford said it was a good-looking house at one point, so he's right.
And it may again be. Well.
Yeah, it will be.
We'll keep fighting the good fight, folks.
Okay. Stay well, everybody.
You too. We'll see you
Thank
next
you.
month. Thanks,
Yeah.
everyone.
Thanks.
Good one.
Bye.
Good
Be
night.
well.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
See you guys later.